Hi, for social studies today we're learning about the state of Tennessee. So let's start by looking through the picture slideshow. So first we have the Great Smoky Mountains National Park straddles Tennessee and North Carolina. The park's peaks can rise more than 5,000 feet high. The Country Music Hall of Fame preserves the history of country music. This park covers more than 500,000 acres of land. Spotted salamanders are not easy to spot among leaves. They are also only active at night. And red-tailed hawks feed their babies until the young birds can leave the nest. So let's get started learning about Tennessee. Some fast facts. Its nickname is the Volunteer State. It became the 16th state in 1796. Its capital is Nashville, but the biggest city in Tennessee is Memphis. Its state bird is the mockingbird, and the state flower is the iris. So some history. Talk about ancient history. Bones and artifacts over 14,000 years old, among the oldest in the state, recently turned up in one Tennessee backyard. It wasn't until thousands of years later that Native American tribes such as the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, and Shawnee appeared in the area. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto was the first known European to reach the land now called Tennessee in 1540. The French and English started fighting for control of the land in 1754 during the French and Indian War, which was a battle in which many Native Americans fought with the French. The British were victorious and in 1763 won all land east of the Mississippi River, including what's now Tennessee. At that time, the region was part of North Carolina, but after the American Revolution, Tennessee became its own U.S. state in 1796. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act forced Native Americans to leave all lands east of the Mississippi River. To this day, no state-recognized tribes live in Tennessee. Tennessee seceded, which means withdrew, from the Union near the beginning of the Civil War in 1861, but became the first state to rejoin in 1866. Why is it called it? No one's sure how Tennessee got its name, but two Native American villages were called Tanasi and Tanasqui, which sounds similar to Tennessee. The state got its nickname from some impressive volunteer work. During the War of 1812, an estimated 20,000 troops volunteered to fight, and in 1846, 30,000 Tennesseans enlisted for the Mexican-American War. On the left, we have the state flag, and on the right, we have the state wild animal, which is a raccoon, the state bird is a mockingbird, and the state flower is an iris. Geography and landforms. So here in the pink is where Tennessee is. And if you go northeast is New Jersey. Tennessee is bordered by Kentucky and Virginia in the north, North Carolina in the east, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi in the south, and Arkansas and Missouri in the west. Its wiggly western border is formed by the Mississippi River. Geologists divided the land into 6 major regions. The Unaka Mountain region is the most rugged in the state and rises along the eastern border. This area has forests and high peaks including Clingman's Dome, Tennessee's highest point. Great Smoky Mountains National Park is also here. The Valley and Ridge region lies west of the mountains and is named for its low, fertile valleys and long tree-covered ridges. The ridges are sometimes called folds. Stretching north to south, farther west is the Cumberland Plateau, created by streams, deep valleys, and gorges lie below flat-topped mountains. Lookout Mountain has views of 7 states. The Central Basin is in the center of the state, surrounded by another region called the Highland Rim. So the basin is sort of like a donut hole. Erosion helped from the basin, which is mostly fertile farmland with some hills and ridges. The Gulf Coastal Plain covers the westernmost part of the state. It lies on a fault line and in 1812 was the site of the worst earthquake in the continental United States. The tremor was so severe that land dropped several feet, the Mississippi River flowed backward, and a new lake called Reelfoot was created. The land closest to the Mississippi is fertile swampland and often called the Delta. Some wildlife in Tennessee. Black bears, mountain lions, gray foxes, bobcats, and white-tailed deer are among the mammals that scamper through Tennessee. Some of the most common birds are red-tailed hawks, ospreys, eastern screech owls, pileated woodpeckers, which are known for their woody woodpecker-like crest, red-winged blackbirds, and summer tanagers, which stand out because of the male's bright red feathers. Eastern fence lizards, southern painted turtles, and pygmy rattlesnakes are some of the state's reptiles, and southern leopard frogs, red salamanders, and lesser sirens, a type of salamander without rear legs, are among Tennessee's amphibians. The state's native trees include sugar maple, pecan, eastern red cedar, loblolly pine, swamp chestnut oak, and bald cypress. Wildflowers like the rare yellow and white Tennessee gladecress, bright purple American beauty berry, wild bleeding heart, and autumn sneezeweed all grow in Kentucky. Natural resources. One of Tennessee's top resources is fertile soil. In fact, almost half the state is farmland. The state is also known for mining minerals such as fluorite, calcite, pyrite, also called fool's gold, marble, and zinc. Some fun stuff about the state. Frontiersman Davy Crockett and singers Aretha Franklin, Dolly Parton, Kenny Chesney, and Justin Timberlake were all born in Tennessee. Graceland, singer Elvis Presley's Memphis mansion gets more visitors than any other U.S. home except for the White House. On display are Elvis's costumes, his pink Cadillac, and even his airplane with gold-plated seatbelts. Visitors to the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville can see costumes, instruments, and artifacts from stars like Brad Paisley, Keith Urban, and Miranda Lambert. The Grand Ole Opry started as a country music radio show in 1925. Today, it's broadcast live from Nashville, where audiences can see stars like Carrie Underwood and groups such as Alabama Shakes perform. Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the United States' most visited national park. The Great Smoky Mountains are known as the salamander capital of the world, and the park alone has 30 different species. Tennessee is filled with important Native American archaeological sites, including the Shiloh Indian Mounds, which were created as a resting place for important individuals about 800 years ago. And that is the end of our reading for Tennessee. I have a quick video with some fun facts on Tennessee, and then the lesson is done.
Time for fun facts. Tennessee is an incredible state. It's the turtle capital of the world. Tennessee is our 16th state, entering the Union on June 1st, 1796. It was the last state to leave and join the Confederacy on June 1st, 1861, but the first to return on July 24th, 1866. Here are 5 fun facts about Tennessee. 1. Tennessee is home to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the most visited national park in the United States. It's also home to the second most visited house in the United States, Graceland. Thank you very much. 2. The nation's oldest African-American architectural firm and financial institution are located in Nashville, Tennessee. 3. The Lost Sea in Sweetwater, Tennessee is the largest underground lake in the United States. Number 4. The first constitution written by white men in America was drafted in Tennessee in 1772. It was based on the Constitution the Iroquois League of Nations developed 200 years earlier. Number 5. In 1915, Georgia Tech's baseball team lost 22-0 against a Cumberland College of Lebanon team that was loaded with professionals. John Heisman, the one the trophy's named after, the coach of the Georgia Tech football team, didn't think it was fair and he vowed revenge. Well, he got it the next year when they beat Cumberland College 222-0. It was not only the most lopsided game in American football history, but the most points scored in a football game as well. And there you have it. There's 5 fun facts about Tennessee. I'll see you next time on Fun Facts.
So that's the end of your social studies lesson about Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed it.